sure you're doing well, right? I don't know. Today on the Snedeker podcast, I'm going to talk a little bit about the past week. It's been a lot of interesting things happened. On the surface, very tepid, very plain, but underneath it shows a positive trend that I'm excited about. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And again, not planned. Because when I start talking, that's when I have to figure out how this show goes. If you haven't seen this or heard this before. And once again, I am with the single camera setup, the keyboard out of frame, but I assure you I can play piano. But that's beside the point. Let's get into today's episode, which we're going to start right now. So how's it going? Again, I'm sure you've had a good week. I don't know. I can't assume anything. You're just a humble person. Everyone's supposedly humble. In my scenario, I'm assuming you are a person who likes to take a second. Maybe this podcast is you at breakfast, something in the background. Maybe you're in your car on the way to work. Maybe you have a free afternoon, you're just lounging in your hammock. Maybe you accidentally found this and you're desperately trying to get out of it, but YouTube's for some reason isn't letting you exit the video. So whatever way you found yourself here today, thank you, first of all. And second of all, welcome to my office. I'm sure those of you who have longtime listeners, 23 episodes in, you know what my office looks like. Things change very incrementally. But I'm excited that this summer is going to afford some more opportunities for me to come up here and do some more stuff. So I'm excited. I have some ideas that I want to check out or test out. And I have, more organizing to do. Things haven't really been updated. But, I'm only one man doing three different kinds of podcasts, and I'm in, 3-4 different groups. One that's kind of my main focus, and, I also play wedding gigs, and other freelance work, studio session work, trying to get back into some of the mundane parts of the business, like booking and promo and all that stuff, trying to get those muscles working again after a year of not really even looking at my email. I've fallen so out of habit with looking at my email, as I'm sure many of you have noticed with the past year. I don't want to keep harping on that. It's hard to ignore it, though. I find that every musician that I talk to for Mitten Backstage or Life is a Piano, there's a combination of here's what I'm doing, here's what I did when I couldn't do anything else, and here, is what I'm looking forward to doing in the next year and starting up again. And that's fine because everyone's still processing a lot of this. A few people I've talked to on those podcasts have said after the fact that it's good. It was fun for them to have the conversations of, what happened this last year and all that, processing it all, talking with other people in, the similar scene or a similar industry. 'Cause honestly, it's when you find, I don't want to assume this for across the board professions, but for music, I find that the more people that I meet that I see as productive, they put stuff out, they're working, they're trying's a big thing, not just saying it won't work. Being open and friendly and interactive and might have good criticisms, might have good advice, might have interesting, projects and things. But I see that as this community, especially in Michigan, and every person that adds to it feels like part of this big family, oh, there's the person who books at this venue I love playing. There's the guy who I hire, like my go-to for like artwork or for, press outlets or, filming things. It's all part of this. It's not just a network. It's like people are into the same types of stuff that you are and want to help you succeed or want to provide a service. And then you, as a person hiring that service locally, you feel like you're investing into the local talent and the local scene. You're not just, jumping the shark on it all. I don't know if that analogy applies. Jumping the shark is a reference to, what show was it? Was it All in the Family? Was it Three's Company? It was some older TV show that they literally had a dude jump a shark, and it was like you could tell it was like the series was winding down, and it was like this last attempt at like he's gonna jump a shark, like a very spectacle like thing that kind of signifies that they're running out of staying power. But I don't know if that analogy necessarily works, but I'm happy that I've been able to do some things recently. I recently finished my residency over at the Listening Room. That was a phenomenal time for multiple reasons. Being invested in always feels nice. Having people say, like, we like what you do. We want to work with you. We want you to program things and bring in the people you want to play with. Like, that's so huge. Like, I don't have to, years ago, I would have been like, oh, I got an opportunity through, like I'm playing with this person who's already established or this person who has the contact or whatever. Now I'm starting to transition into being more of that person who has a lot of keys to open doors. And this residency was kind of a taste of like what kind of work I need to do for my own personal creative ventures. Not saying that, like an Earth Radio or, Mark Lavengood or Normal Mode or anything that's like a collaborative thing, I can't inherently infuse my own artistic ideas. But when I was a band leader for two different groups essentially. And Normal Mode is, more of a collaboration. Same with the trio that was, I guess, technically under my name. It was me and John Muir Cotton and Madison George a lot of the time, alternating with Normal Mode. So that was a fun time. We're playing like the what's this, Bolivia? Yeah, you try to narrate, you're just playing notes. I'm like messing it up now. Playing tunes, having fun. It started as me doing solo piano for Valentine's weekend, if you remember. I think I talked about that on the podcast as things it developed. But that, that whole process, it wasn't like I think some people thought like, oh, he's just not sharing the access and he's stealing all the gigs, or like he won't like, literally I was approached in February when restaurants opened. I was already friendly with the staff. I hadn't seen them since the pandemic. I don't work with them that often. I did one show at the Listening Room during the first, few months of its opening. And they were just like, hey, you do stuff. Do you want to do stuff at the Listening Room? Like, we need someone for Valentine's weekend. And I was like, sure, I'll do that. And then, a weekend of that went by. They said, hey, how about another? The dining thing worked out. People are digging it. then a meeting. They were like, hey, we want to expand this, because this thing's working. It's what we're able to do. We're able to have some form of live music. It's easy for, the people to work on because it's not a lot of players. It's not, it's semi background music. It's like a dinner concert type thing. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. And then trios started happening in March. Other meetings happen. Oh, let's do April. Okay. Other meeting. Oh, we have dates for you in May. Cool. Okay. That sounds great. And then, towards the end of May, another meeting. Hey, we can do 2 weekends in June. And I couldn't do them this weekend, but I did do one date, June 5th, with John Muir-Cotton and Madison again. One last time. One last, comped sandwich. I had all the sandwiches, the whitefish, the 2 different burgers, the falafel, the chicken sandwich, all of them really good. And it was fun to, get a different meal. 2 dates out of the week, you could just be like, you know what, I'm feeling the burger both nights, or you know what, I want a side salad with the falafel. Options. So it was fun, and that residency ended June 5th, like I said. And the following week, this past week, for listeners, I'm recording this literally the day episode 22 came out. So you might have already listened to that at some point this week. So June 10, I had another show with Earth Radio at Rake Beer. Great set, great music, great environment, great people, just a lot of pros to that spot. We made some money. Everyone, I think, went home happy. I hope the farm stand went home happy. It's always hard to sell produce at a place where they're like, I'm already buying a meal. Like, why would I buy produce? It's like, well, you can have that later, smarty. You can buy something. And that was fun. June 10th. June 11th and 12th were weddings. I had a wedding at Felt Mansion in Saugatuck. I had heard about that venue, tried to get on their concert series multiple years. They have a very selective few dates. It's tricky. I'm sure at some point we'll get on that, but it was cool seeing that manor. I did a quick, tour of the floors just to see like what was up there. It definitely has the vibe of like somebody lived out here and just threw parties. Like it's got a ballroom upstairs with a bar counter. It's got, like multiple rooms where people can just exist, like seated comfortably. It's kind of a museum now, but like you could see like, oh, this is probably where, like you could have people all over the place by the fountain, by the different patio fixtures, by the, all the different floors. There were rooms to stay in. It definitely felt like this place had a lot of history. And the crowd there was sweet. They were super, super fun. They were they're like super happy. A lot of them is like, it's my first concert back. Like I haven't seen live music like since everything shut down. It's like, it's nice to have those brief little moments of like, oh, people do like live music. They don't hold contempt for people playing music late into the night. Like some people are like, there's live music's too loud. Like everyone's dancing, they were drinking, having a good time. The funny part, I think the bride and groom were leaving in some, planned fantastic way of like, there they go, off they go, everyone say goodbye, a bunch of sparklers. And they all started walking away during Don't Stop Believing, and I'm like, wow, like they must really hate, like that was a unanimous hatred of this song. And then of course we're like, oh no, it's just some other thing is happening. But because Don't Stop Believing as a closer, that's peak drunk, peak singing along to songs, peak last dance, peak end of the night level. Like you pull that off, guitar player nails the solo. I do the, and then it changes. Is this why you tuned in? So you can hear me not sing "Don't Stop Believing"? That wedding was sweet. Great band, fun night, just easy fun. June 12th, I had a wedding at in Lake Leelanau, at Fountain Point Resort. Great historical hotel, great property. I love the best part. The best part about Fountain Point, honestly, is sitting on the front porch and just looking at the water. Like it's like peak summer. You just sit there. There's like comfy sofas. There's some chairs that rock back and forth. You know what a rocking chair? But you sit there, get a nice drink, sip. Although I had a little bit of wine yesterday, and I'm less and less inclined to enjoy alcohol. Like, for some reason, my body's just been like, bruh, you shouldn't have any alcohol. Like, what are you doing? You barely feed yourself. And some of you are like, what do you mean? Like, you look like you've eaten food. It's like, I eat food. Yeah, but nourishment, things that are beneficial. That's a thing I'm getting. Taking care of yourself. How does that work? Like, I don't know. That was supposed to be transitionary, but so okay. Anyway, the crowd even better. So into it. As soon, we had two sets on the dance floor. They were throwing down. There was one dude who had like a vest and shades, and like he had a beer koozie that just said beer, and he was just like, every time like we started, we're playing like Get Lucky, like that's how it goes. I was trying to find the bass note. And like we're, second time through the progression, like he was just screaming the whole. It's like, oh, like he couldn't believe. It's like the play. Like he was just freaking out, and we heard him the whole week. Like we were playing, I think, The Chicken during cocktail hour, and just off in the distance, unrelated to the music, but we just heard a whoa, like just like freaking out, like somewhere. Like this dude was definitely invited because he knows how to party. And he's probably related. I don't know. I met some of them. Everyone was super appreciative. Like so many thank yous. Like wow. And it helps both nights. I noticed that Serena and Mason and Chris. These are all people. If Serena, Chandler, and Mason, Velo, and Chris Kranick, all awesome artists, all great MCs, all and Lee Heerspink as well. He was a singer and MC for part of the night on Friday. It's like, I getting back into the wedding routine, I'm starting to really appreciate the people who know how to like make the audience feel good. Like I can kind of do that, but my role isn't really front of the stage. And even when it is, it's like, I try to, some people say like, oh, there's too much banter in between songs. And there's like, oh, you need to talk more about, what's the song about? Like, tell a story to get people to know. And it's like, shut up, everybody. I'm going to figure it out. Let me just figure it out. But to see people who know how to host and be that warm, inviting person, I can fake it to a degree, and I can feel it. In some instances, I can feel like, yeah, this crowd's great, they're great people. But to have someone there who like is the buffer of like making everyone feel comfortable, feeling like things are going smoothly, calming down the wedding planner if there's a wedding where everything's stressful, calming down the staff, people who can just make things. Like, I want people to like that musicians are there, and I want people to see Blue Water Kings as like, oh, good. Like, most vendors I've talked to and some of them I've seen, multiple times, different caterer companies and different chunks of the state, and you run into the same, coordinators and some of the same staff. a lot of them say like, whenever we see Blue Water Kings, we know it's going to be a good night. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, that's all. Like, I don't even own Blue Water Kings. I don't book for them. The only involvement I have is I get hired. Whenever I am hired by something that the majority of the people that I've performed for or talked to about the service or have heard about it, all they've heard are good things. And that's how I want to keep it, because it keeps me employed and it keeps, people ready for live music. They want to, hire Blue Water Kings. Is like, we're going to get a great band. We're going to have fun people, all that good stuff. So 2 nights in a row, great weddings. Had to do it on a keyboard that I borrowed from Earth Radio singer Hannah. There are things I like about that keyboard. Things that were tricky, because some of I don't know why, like some keyboards, like it's like for whatever reason, like the low end is always so heavy. And I'm like, are you thinking that this is like why does this need to be so heavy? Like it can be full without like me barely touching the keys and just like, poof. So, but that was a simple fix, figure out the right equilibrium of volume, and then like PA, EQ, and everything was fine. But I had to borrow that keyboard because I spent all of last Monday, not all of it, a chunk of Monday, I took off all the keys on my Yamaha CP33. I've owned it for 12 years. I took all the keys off. I cleaned. So I used like 200 Q-tips, and I used lubricant on the parts that needed, grease. I made, I cleaned out a bunch of hair and felt and, gooey substances that like somehow seeped and like stuck in between keys. And I did the whole thing, put all the keys back. I have one key that, still I could replace that was chipped, a couple of them. And I would go to play it on the gig on Thursday. 8 of the keys didn't work. And one of them was the A above middle C, which I use so much because I songs that use like very, very few Earth Radio songs are in keys that won't hit A. Like, it's almost impossible to avoid. Even in, like I think of like Wrong Tree, the breakbeat section that opens up, that's built around E flat minor 7 going up to E major 7 for a second, and then down to D major 7 for a second. So it's like, oh, that A is it's part of the the blues scale of the E flat minor blues, and it's part of the key of E major and D major. It's part of the chord of D major. Like, yes, it's the 5th, so it's like you can get away without playing it in terms of conveying the quality of the chord, but so annoying to not have that for soloing, for, changing the chord quality, changing, what type of voicing I want to do. So very annoying. I'm getting it fixed tomorrow though, so I'm happy about that. And the other thing that broke, the window motor, on my passenger side window, I can hear it trying to work, but I think the glass just got off the track because it like fell and the car was off. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. Turn the car back on, can't lift it up or down. All right, something's weird. It's caught on something. I tried to move it and then it just fell into the slot. So I currently have a trash bag and like a piece of cardboard to keep it like stable and a little bit more aerodynamic, just all gaff taped to that door. So it's been a lot of things breaking. I think my key Largo might have an issue with I tried like doing a quick fix on the power adapter, and it seems like it dips my volume sometimes, and I don't know if that's something internal or if it's a power issue, or if it was a power issue because of the stages we were using yesterday and Friday. Like maybe we were drawing too much power from the limited sources that were provided. There's so many variables that go into like what's wrong with my gear that I don't know. I have to solve it. This week, because I have a gig on Friday. Well, when this comes out, it'll already happen. I'm playing with Mark Lavengood this week. First gig. Is it the first gig? No, it's the second gig, I think, of the year with him. I think I did a stream during the winter. I can't remember if that was this year or late last year. And then I have another wedding in Traverse City, which is going to be super fun. I can't wait for that. It's a good band, going to carpool, probably, I would hope, just to make things easier logistically, but maybe not. All of this is details that I haven't confirmed yet, other than that the wedding and things are happening. But yeah, it was a good week, interesting week, annoying problems with equipment and vehicles, and there's also a rust issue that I see. There's a little gap where it's separated the bumper from the rest of the car in the front left side of. It's why can't, I'm not doing anything to it. Why can't, it's oh, but you mean the passage of time and fluctuating temperatures and humidity, cause rust? Who does that? But I don't know. I just want to get ignored. That's the goal for the end of the summer. I want episode 23, the marker of this episode is going to be, by the end of the summer, I'm going to have a Nord. I'm going to, on the podcast, be look, here it is. It's right there. And I'll have sounds like these that I can use for... Don't you love sequencing? You just, So what I did right there, C, F sharp, B, and then the B walked down to the F sharp, and then I just moved this down a step, another step, another step, whole step. It sounds like we're going somewhere, and we're here, and then we go into another place, and where are we going to end up? It's fun. But good week, good people, good venues, great pay. Live music's coming back. We're working on it, ladies and gentlemen. And we need your help. We need you to attend shows. If you're in the Grand Rapids area, go. Here are the venues you could go to. You could go to Tip Top. You could go to Mulligan's. You could go to the Listening Room. You could go to the Listening Lawn concert series on Thursdays. You can go to, Garage Bar, I'm sure, is going to start booking stuff. Rockies might start booking stuff. Speakeasy might start booking stuff. Founders at some point's probably going to book stuff. Turnstiles is a new venue. There's so many places to see music of different varieties. There's outdoor concert series. There's the symphony. There's the whole O'Toole's or open mics. There's was it the DAC? It's back, and Skeletones apparently is going to make a return in some fashion. The music, there's going to be another wave of artists that need support, and there's going to be more. There's going to be more music and more opportunities as the city grows. GR Noir, new bar opened up in February, is now a staple for West Michigan jazz. So go support these places. If you're the kind of person who's oh, I don't know, I don't, what is a live music? Is music where you enjoy the music, and is it like a flavor and you eat it? What do you do with music? It's go see a show, see a DJ. I'll even tell you to go see a DJ, because they're performers too, of a different ilk. And it's a lot of things they have to do behind the scenes. It's not just the twisting and the scratching and the big. I don't know why I'm suddenly in old bands. They're all these kids with the twisting and the scratching on the they're using the turntables to make music. Like, just go hear if you hear the word music, or you have a friend who you know goes and sees a lot of local live music, go with them. See a show. Be inspired. Be motivated. Be supportive. Because it doesn't matter that art's, like, it's not a painting. Not everything's a painting. And even then, paintings, they hang on a wall, and sometimes they don't even, they don't get the appreciation they deserve because they're in the wrong locale, or someone's not buying that, or someone buys them and puts them in their house. Like, it's not a fixed thing. Like, go support the dynamicism of a live music scene. There are bands that aren't going to be, they're not going to be forever. Some bands are going to dissolve. Some bands are going to move to another state, Like, funny thing, like the Warren Treaty, they lived in Albion, and Albion loved them. And then as soon as they moved to Nashville, everyone in Michigan claimed them. Everyone in Michigan was like, the Warren Treaty. It's like, I literally did not hear about them until I found out that Max Brown was joining the band. And it's not, I didn't know. I just didn't know. I didn't know it happened. I don't even think I've been to Albion, the city. There's so many cities I haven't been to in Michigan. And so don't be that loser who's like, oh yeah, I knew them back when there was like 2 people there. I'm like, no, you didn't. I know if there were 2 people there, I know which 2 people because I was there and I saw it. And if you're not there, don't pretend. Be honest. Like, if you only go see 2 shows a month, mazel tov. If you want to go see shows every night, awesome. If you want to see a show, like, I'm working and hustling and I'm doing my own thing and I'm putting a lot of time and energy, and then you go see one show in the summer, or like 2 festivals, like, be honest about it. Because, it's one thing to say that you support live music or artistry, and then with every action you take, it shows, a very bare minimum entry. Like, I like music if it's served to me in a curated playlist. I don't go and seek it out. I just let other people inform my tastes, and I don't buy merch. I don't buy CDs. I don't buy downloads. I just stream because it's easier to pay $10 a month for Spotify and, have unlimited streams than it is to buy a record that would support the artist more directly for $10 and not have access to the rest of all of humanity's music. But I get it. Spotify, I use it all the time. I don't know. My soapbox. Go support live music. I am inspired by the wedding people, because usually weddings can be like hit or miss. And both nights were, a lot of the same types of comments from the same types of people. And, it's great. So do that. Go support. Oops. Go support. That's the end of the podcast. Support everything. You can support this podcast by going to patreon.com/Snedeker, and you can give me money. You can give me all your money. You can subscribe for as little as $5. Get episodes early, exclusive merch, other types of things. I'm looking to expand over the next few months so that your dollar feels like it's, giving you a lot of value, because I appreciate your investment in me and want to return it in kind. You can also go to DutcherSnedeker.com and see what else I'm up to on the internet. I keep saying I need to update the website, and I haven't done it yet. So just go there knowing you can find other tentacles around the internet, my Facebook, my Instagram. Just type my name into Google and you'll find everything I'm up to. Keep an eye out for Earth Radio, Mark Lavengood, Normal Mode, Blushing Monk, all those people, all those groups, all those shows, all the good things. And, I don't know, support live music. And we'll see you next time on the Dutcher Snedeker podcast, where I talk and play keys, and that's the podcast.